Welcome to Duke University's 169th commencement. Please direct your attention to the south end of Abele Quad and welcome the Duke University class of 2020. Please rise and remain standing as we recognize the faculties of Duke University, the Duke University administration, and the trustees of Duke University, followed by the members of the Platform Party. please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and rockets bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, we praise you because morning has broken like the first morning, and we bask in the glory of the sun and green. We stand in luminous awe because we actually made it to this day, even though some parents might have thought they would be paying tuition forever. Despite a global pandemic, we praise. Despite the disappointments we've had, the losses we've experienced, the questions we've raised, the irresolution we're still having, the tears we've shed, the shouts we've exclaimed that doubted this day would even come, we stand with our feet firmly planted with courage in 2021 to celebrate 2020 in the face of a great towering church that was the last building to be completed in 1932. Your time is always on time, and though this commencement isn't the usual time, it is our time. And our tears today are tears of joy. Our shouts today are shouts of celebration while we dance in our hearts with an electric slide of happiness. We bring it all, our full selves, our whole hearts, to the heart of this glorious campus. Today we give thanks, not as we reflect on the losses, but the loves of our lives who have sustained and cherished us. All of those great cloud of witnesses who surrounded us during this unusual season of growth to let us know we weren't alone all along. The faculty, staff, trustees, administrators, family, and friends who encouraged us when we couldn't even encourage ourselves. And as we sit on Julian Abele Quad, with the James B. Duke statue in front of Duke Chapel, adjacent to named buildings like Gray and Perkins and Flowers, we remember all of the founders of this university, the litany of known and unknown names who've made Duke University what it is today. We praise because of all of them and for all that we have gained here at Duke. Even as we travel this unforeseen journey, let us experience unexpected joy. And in the days ahead, may we rise higher than the chapel tower so that we not only make a living, but make a life that is truth-telling, justice-seeking, love-breathing, joy-instigating, and hope-stirring, while being brave enough not to lie, wise enough not to be unkind, and strong enough not to hate. Let even our wounds be the portal where your light enters us, so that you may shine a light over the horizon of our future for the life of the world. Show us how to not only go to space, but to make space for each other, and by doing so, be a blessing to all whom we encounter. with gratitude for the gift of this new morning and the class of 2020, we say amen. Please be seated.
Good morning. Good morning. Class of 2020, I am thrilled to join Duke's faculty, your classmates, family, and many friends in congratulating you on this extraordinary milestone. Congratulations. You did it. You passed your exams. You finished your requirements, you earned your degrees, and then you waited, and waited, and waited some more. Today is a day that has been long delayed, and 2020, your time has come. Let me begin by giving a shout out to the family members and the friends who have brought you to this moment. Class of 2020, I ask, would you please rise and give them, your families, your friends, a huge round of applause. Members of the class of 2020, you arrive back on campus for the first time as graduates who have already graduated. Over the course of the past year, life has taken you in innumerable directions, to new jobs and unfamiliar cities, to meet friends and forge relationships and continue toward an even more extraordinary future. But today, I remind you that wherever life takes you, you are always, always Blue Devils first. Now, as we all welcome these extraordinary Blue Devils, it's perhaps fitting that Duke Libraries is hosting an exhibition this fall on Dante Alighieri's famed Inferno, the epic allegory composed in the 14th century Florence. Even for those of you who have not read it, the plot may sound familiar, particularly after this past year. A lone scholar makes his way through an uncertain world, one that is simultaneously familiar and wildly changed. It's as though the world itself were flipped on its head. And the stories he hears are bleak, discouraging. People he knows and loves suffer pain and great misfortune. And at each point, when it seems it can't get any worse, it does. Now you may be thinking, wait a second, this is supposed to be a celebration. Is the president trying to bum us out on the morning of our commencement? But here's the thing. Through all the uncertainty and the bleakness, the Inferno offers us a moment of extraordinary hope. In the final lines, after literally traversing the 9 circles of hell, Dante finds a way out, a way forward. Through the cavern, he writes, he followed a light, and e quindi uscimo a rivedere le stelle. Or in Longfellow's famous translation, he emerged once more to re-behold the stars. This line has immediate resonance to our shared journey here today, on this glorious morning. Through the tumult and the uncertainty of the past 18 months, we emerge together to this moment of celebration. And the Longfellow translation's striking compound verb, re-behold, certainly captures, I think, your experience this weekend. You have re-beheld familiar places, from the towering trees of this quad to the blooms of the gardens, to a victory at Wallace Wade. You have re-beheld old friends, from a greater distance perhaps, but with undiminished love and affection. And those of you who undertook the first ever evening chapel climbs have re-beheld the firmament of the stars, those same lights that guided Dante from the depths of the Inferno. In this re-beholding, there's a sense that we, the beholder, have changed. You have been through some stuff. Through a virtual end to your senior year, through quarantine, through vaccines and masking, and cancellations and uncertainty. And to be sure, we're not out of the woods yet. Just as Dante had to pass through purgatory after the Inferno, we do have some uncertain days ahead. But here we are, together on this joyful day. We are emerging toward the light. As one poet said, as though awakening to music. We are re-beholding the universe of possibilities that lies before us. And I am certain that there are extraordinary days ahead for all of you. Congratulations, great class of 2020. At Duke, we have a long tradition of beginning the commencement exercises with a student voice. Each year, a panel of Duke students, faculty, and staff recommends a member of the graduating class to be our student speaker. And this year, the panel selected Sabrina Maciariello, Trinity College class of 2020. As an undergraduate, Sabrina was an accomplished actress, an advocate for wellness and collective healing, serving as an intern at Do Well and as executive theatrical co-director of the Me Too monologues. She received the Constanzo Teaching Fellowship for her contributions to Psychology 101. Since graduating from Duke, Sabrina has helped to lead a national telephone-based project that assists military veterans and their families, and has worked with the educational organization Kaleidoscope on designing and implementing a new high school curriculum. Please join me in welcoming Sabrina Maciariello, our student speaker.
One of my favorite writers is named Andrew Anabi. The week I decided to write this speech, someone named Anna asked him to write on how hope can help us heal on a collective level. He responded, "Dear Anna, true hope is to be at peace with the reality that we'll never know what's next. It allows us to come to terms with the way our lives already are and to appreciate what we have while we have it." My name is Sabrina, and post-spring break, second semester went the same for me as it likely did for some of you. Really crappy. Like many of you, I grieved all the memories I didn't get to have, the people I didn't get to say goodbye to. Do you remember getting that email? The one that said, in essence, that our time on this breathtaking Gothic campus was up? I distinctly remember sitting with one of my best friends moments later, hugging her as we cried on her bathroom floor. It was during those moments of sadness that the old cliche became almost mockingly obvious. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Unbeknownst to me at the time, that platitude strongly foreshadowed another unprecedented loss I was to experience in 2021, but more on that later. When you start at Duke, your freshman year, you often hear advice from professors and advisors that you stubbornly refuse to take, but almost always end up being true. The first one that comes to mind for me is quality over quantity. Like when Dean Sue repeatedly told us to use our once-in-a-lifetime undergraduate experiences as opportunities to explore intellectual curiosities and not to worry about completing 2 majors and a minor and a certificate, because ultimately, none of it mattered as much as we thought it would, and we wouldn't get this chance again. When I close my eyes and look back on myself 5 years ago, I see a young woman who was constantly overcome with the need to do more, to do the work study and the overloading and the extracurriculars and the fellowship. I was living in anticipation of this very moment, walking out of here with my diploma in hand, ready to rattle off my list of accomplishments after being asked, what was it like to go to Duke University? And you know what? Sitting in quarantine, I realized that by living in anticipation of answering that question, I neglected to give the smaller moments the appreciation they deserved. In the days following that dreaded announcement, I didn't know what to do next. The idea of repressing it all and burying myself in job applications was incredibly tempting, but instead I turned to social media. And one morning, my mindless scrolling was interrupted by a quote that caught my eye. Grief is really just love with no place to go. And just like that, I had decided, let me give it somewhere to go. So every evening at sunset, I walked along the East Campus Trail. I allowed memories of my undergraduate experience to flow freely, bringing along whatever emotions of happiness, anger, or nostalgia that accompanied them. The long nights spent unsuccessfully swearing off my procrastinatory tendencies in the Gothic reading room, the distant memory of quenchers. The collective groan after hearing Closer by the Chainsmokers play at any social gathering, or the breathlessness that accompanied each time the C1 circled the roundabout and cruised onto Chapel Drive, revealing the chapel in all of her majestic splendor. I mourned the loss of the moments I took for granted, yes, but I also smiled at the reflections as I looked back at them in my rearview mirror. And so, life continued. I stayed in Durham, I got a job, I healed, and I moved on. Then, on March 26th, 2021, my little brother died unexpectedly at the age of 18. You know, there's an old saying that at each new stage of your life, the universe will cyclically give you opportunities to prove to yourself that you've truly learned, internalized, and mastered the lessons from the previous ones. The loss of my brother precipitated an experience of grief that defies description altogether. I kicked myself for weeks thinking of how much quarantine time I spent in Durham grieving Duke, stubbornly refusing to fly home to my family because I didn't want to leave Durham behind. I thought of all the memories I could have had with him during those months, time I'd never get back. But to my own surprise, there were also many moments of gratitude. Where there is grief, there is deep love. I learned that lesson the first time. In the past year and a half, we have all collectively experienced confusion, frustration, grief, and loss. We taught ourselves how to cope in the midst of instability and how to create our own senses of closure. And that shared experience of overcoming personal difficulty is but another way that Duke has bonded us together. The best way to appreciate what you have is by truly and deeply appreciating its impermanence. Every time you share space with someone special to you, today especially, hold them tightly, but with love and appreciation, not fear. Because if this pandemic has taught us nothing else, it's to be thankful for the privilege of living our lives, especially as we sat inside and saw millions of people lose theirs. To the resilient class of 2020. Recall that for many months, we didn't think we'd get this moment back. This is your opportunity to truly relish in the full glory of what it feels like to finally walk out of here in a cap and gown. Take a moment to celebrate all of the adversities you have prevailed through to make it to this point here today. If you haven't already, reflect on your experiences and accomplishments and pride, the accumulation of a million tiny moments that have fortified the person you are today. Class of 2020, it is truly such an honor to be sharing this time with you. Thank you. I appreciate you, and of course, a heartfelt congratulations.
Thank you so much, Sabrina, for those inspiring words. And now I am pleased to welcome the Duke University Chair of the Board of Trustees, Laurene Sperling, to formally open this commencement.
Mr. President, I am now pleased to declare this commencement open for the awarding of university medals and honorary degrees. The University Medal is our highest honor for service to Duke, reserved for those who make transformational contributions to our university. These medals are awarded on Founders Day, which we celebrate this weekend alongside this commencement. Duke University awards honorary degrees to recognize extraordinary achievement and service to the world. The candidates for honorary degrees have been enthusiastically approved by the faculty of the university and by the Board of Trustees. Each will be accompanied by a faculty sponsor.
I am so pleased today to recognize three extraordinary members of the Duke community with our university medal. I am first pleased to recognize the late Marianne Black. Accepting the award on her behalf is her son, Jonathan Black. Marianne Black served for many years as Associate Vice President for Community Relations for the Duke University Health System, a role in which she forged strong relationships between our health system and the city and the region we're proud to call home. In addition to her role at Duke, Marianne also served her community as a member of the North Carolina House of Representatives, a Durham County Commissioner, and chair of the Board of Commissioners. She served as president of the Durham Downtown Rotary and was the first female chair of the Greater Durham Chamber of Commerce Board. Mary Ann passed away, sadly, in 2020. For her leadership at Duke and the vital relationships she fostered between our university and the community we serve, I am delighted to present the University Medal to Mary Ann Black. I am now pleased to recognize Pete Nicholas, Duke class of 1964. Unfortunately, Pete can't be with us this morning, but accepting the medal on his behalf is his son, J.K. Nicholas. The co-founder, chairman, and longtime chief executive officer of Boston Scientific Corporation, Pete served as a member of the Duke University Board of Trustees for 12 years, including 2 years as chair. He and his wife, Ginny, served as co-chairs for the steering committee of the Campaign for Duke, and his family has provided major philanthropic support for our university, including the naming gift for the Nicholas School of the Environment. An emeritus member of the Board of Advisors for the Nicholas Institute for Environmental Policy Solutions, he received the Joseph Wharton Lifetime Achievement Award from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He has also been a friend and trusted advisor to several Duke University presidents, including me, for his transformational leadership and for his support of our campus climate initiatives. I am delighted to award the University Medal to Pete Nicholas. And now I'm pleased to recognize Rick Wagner, Duke class of 1975. Retired after 32 years at General Motors, a career that saw him serve as Chief Executive Officer, Chairman, President, Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Financial Officer. Rick has been a committed and a visionary leader of his alma mater. He served as a member of the Duke University Board of Trustees for 12 years, including 2 years as chair. He continues to serve Duke as a member of our Health System Board of Directors and as chair of the Duke Kunshan University Advisory Board. Rick has transformed Duke in so many areas, including chairing searches for key senior leaders, including our Chancellor for Health Affairs and our Vice President for Athletics and Athletic Director. And I'm particularly grateful to Rick for his advice and counsel throughout my time at Duke. In recognition of the many ways that Rick Wagner has left his mark on Duke, I am delighted to award him the University Medal. I am now pleased to confer, by the power vested in me, honorary degrees upon 4 truly extraordinary candidates. To today's recipients, we know that your example will inspire these graduates to pursue careers of equal principle and purpose. We welcome you to our Duke University community, and we're proud to call you Dukies. I invite Paula McLean, James B. Duke Distinguished Professor of Political Science, Dean of the Graduate School, and Vice Provost for Graduate Education, to accompany to the podium Mary Schmidt Campbell, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. and renowned art historian, Dr. Mary Schmidt Campbell has served as the president of Spelman College since 2015. Under her leadership, Spelman has developed a strategic vision for educating Black women for the 21st century through expanding partnerships, deepening the college's excellence in STEM, broadening its signature academic programs, and completing the largest comprehensive campaign in its history. Before her arrival at Spelman, Dr. Campbell was a major force in the cultural life of New York City, serving as the city's Cultural Affairs Commissioner, Executive Director of the Studio Museum in Harlem, and Dean of New York University's Tisch School of the Arts for more than 20 years. A Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, she serves as a trustee of the High Museum of Art in Atlanta, the J. Paul Getty Trust, and the Doris Duke Charitable Trust. In 2009, President Barack Obama appointed her vice chair of the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities, where she spearheaded a national program that made use of the arts to turn around failing elementary and middle schools. Mary, for your extraordinary leadership of our cultural institutions and for your many contributions, I am delighted to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. I now invite Sue Jinks Robertson, James B. Duke Distinguished Professor of Molecular Genetics and Microbiology, to accompany to the podium Katalin Karikó, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. I also invite Kevin Saunders, Associate Professor in Surgery and member of the Duke Human Vaccine Institute, to accompany to the podium Drew Weissman, also a candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Perhaps many of you felt, as I did, a profound sense of relief when you received the COVID vaccine. And today, I have the distinct pleasure of recognizing two honorands who played critical roles in its development. Dr. Katalin Karikó is Senior Vice President at BioNTech and an adjunct professor in the Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Drew Weissman is the Roberts Family Professor of Vaccine Research at the Perelman School of Medicine. Together, they discovered ways to suppress unwanted immunogenicity of RNA, enabling it to serve as the groundwork for a new class of vaccines. And in the context of the pandemic, this collaborative work was foundational to the RNA-based COVID vaccines. Dr. Karikó Dr. Karikó has 14 mRNA-related patents in her more than 40-year research career. She currently leads the mRNA-based protein replacement program for BioNTech SE and was co-founder with Dr. Weissman and served as CEO of RNARX, which pioneered the field of mRNA protein replacement in animals. For her scientific contributions and achievements, she has received many awards and recognitions, including the Rostentil Award, the Horowitz Prize, and the Breakthrough Prize. She has also received the Széchenyi Prize and the Semmelweis Awards, both of which are bestowed by the government of Hungary, where she was born and completed her education. Dr. Weissman develops other mRNA vaccines that induce potent antibody and T-cell responses. At the University of Pennsylvania, He also researches methods to replace genetically deficient proteins, edit the genome, and specifically target cells and organs. His research has been supported by the NIH, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, the Gates Foundation, AMFAR, and BioNTech. Among many other accolades, Dr. Weissman has received the Norman L. Litvin Duke Chavi ID Scholar Award, the Roston Teal Award for Distinguished Work in Medical Science, and the Brandeis University Distinguished Alumni Award. And we learned just this Friday that Drs. Karikó and Weissman received the Lasker Award for Clinical Medical Research. Katalin and Drew. Katalin and Drew, for your groundbreaking and indeed life-saving work, I am delighted to confer upon each of you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science and to express the gratitude of all of us the world over who have benefited from your efforts. Congratulations. There we go. Thanks. Thank you. I now invite Esther Kim Lee, Professor of Theater Studies and Director of Asian American and Diaspora Studies, to accompany to the podium Ken Jeong, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce our final honorary degree recipient and this year's commencement speaker, Dr. Ken Jeong. Like many of you, I first met Ken when he jumped out of the trunk of a car. And while that moment of comic brilliance from The Hangover will be forever etched in our memories, if you know, you know, that scene does not begin to capture the essence of Ken. Ken, first and foremost, is a Duke graduate, class of 1990, and now honorary member of the class of 2020. He went on from Duke to earn an MD at UNC, though we won't hold that against him, since his lifelong devotion to Duke basketball demonstrates that he was not swayed to the light blue side in Chapel Hill. While practicing medicine in Los Angeles, Ken began pursuing a career in comedy and acting on the side. His breakthrough role came in Judd Apatow's Knocked Up, and he has since gone on to star in the acclaimed series Community and in the Hangover trilogy. He also appeared in Crazy Rich Asians, sharing the nominations for a Screen Actors Guild Award and a Golden Globe Award for Best Picture. His recent television credits include ABC's Dr. Ken, which he wrote, produced, and starred in, his Netflix comedy special, The Masked Singer, where he serves as judge and panelist, and I Can See Your Voice, which he hosts and executive produces. That is, I think you will agree, an extraordinary career. It's one that's truly made Ken an icon of comedy over the past decades. But Ken is so much more than the actor that we see on screen. Inspired by his wife, Tran Ho, a breast cancer survivor, Ken has been a committed supporter of Stand Up to Cancer, helping to raise hundreds of millions of dollars for cancer research as a host of the annual telecast. He is a vocal advocate for Asians and Asian Americans in the performing arts, having received wide recognition for his efforts to raise the visibility of the AAPI community. And he has been a leading voice in condemning violence against Asians. And during the COVID pandemic, he's also led efforts in Hollywood to support public health measures and vaccinations. And let me also share my personal gratitude to Ken. Over the course of the uncertainty of this past year, he has been so flexible in working with us to make this day possible. He is truly a member of this class of 2020, and in celebration, I signed his honorary degree with blue heart emojis. For all his many accomplishments, I am delighted to confer upon Ken Jeong the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. And now it's my great pleasure to cede the podium to our commencement speaker, Dr. Ken Jeong.
Thank you again, Dave. Thank you. Shout out to President Price, all the honorees here tonight. Please give everyone here a round of applause. And a special shout out to Sabrina. That's so inspiring. Wow, there's a line I'm trying to paraphrase from In the Heights where Jimmy Smith looks at his daughter and says, you know, I don't worry about you because I see the future, because you see a world that we don't see. And thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for inspiring. That was outstanding. Wow, class of 2020, Dr. Ken has come back home. Oh, oh, oh. Sorry for the delay. It took me 16 months to write the speech. I'm a perfectionist, can lead. Okay, worth the wait. I'm to the class of 2020. Thank you. We are all here for you. I am here for you. And this is actually what I told President Price last night. It's just whatever you need. He reached out to me last year. Would you like to speak commencement? Whatever you need. We can't do the commencement because of the pandemic. Can you just do a short video? Whatever you need. Can you come back? Whatever you need. And so from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I'm looking at each one of you right now and just saying, from me to you, the class of 2020, whatever you need, I'm always here for you. So just want you to know that. Because we are going through this together. We have survived this together, and my love, thoughts, and prayers to go to all of us who have lost during this, and we're going to get through this together. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here, to get through this together, because we collectively are Duke. So, and bringing back so many memories. This just personally for me, a shout out to my sister who is here, also a BN Duke scholar and smarter than me, but whatever. And my father, who is a retired professor of economics, whose dream was to have his kids go to Duke. Personally for me, just to be a student here, I'd already won. That was my whole goal as a kid. I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina. I grew up just an hour from here. I did all my formative years in Greensboro, and that was a dream to come here. And then once I got here, I was just a snot-nosed kid from Trent 2. That was like back in '86 on North Campus. I was a snot-nosed kid, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be looking here at you today. There's so many memories. I was, first and foremost, we were K-ville before K-ville was a thing. Back in '86, we had tents. It wasn't legal. We skipped school. We did shift work. My grades suffered. It was an amazing time. Tommy Amaker was a senior. Danny Ferry was the star. And we lost and we loved it. No, but now it is so incredible just walking through Duke. And I was just going by Cameron yesterday. I forgot I had started like my own chant at Cameron my sophomore year in '88, and there was a Duke Carolina game, and there was a player by the name of King Rice for UNC. He was a scrub that was coming off the bench, and I was just like, "Oh no, not Rice!" And then everyone, "Oh no, not Rice!" And we won, and I earned it, and it's because of me. So I give myself credit. Absolutely. I mean, granted, he came back next year, scored 30 points, and we lost. But that's beside the point, guys. But it's hard to know what to say right now, except that I look at you because I was you, I am you, and this to me, it's hard to say what I want to say because so many people before me have said this. I was just an average kid. I was just an average Duke student. I was just an everyday Duke student. I don't have the legacy that any of my fellow honorees have. All I have in life to offer is my heart, and I'm offering that to you right now. All I have is love, and if that is the only thing you come out of this is just to love one another, to find your identity, to find your flow in life, that's all we need. That's all we need right now is to find ourselves. And it's... And what I mean by finding myself, I didn't want to be an actor. I was here to be pre-med. And and proudly wanting to be pre-med. And then my second semester, I took an intro to acting class, and it just changed my life. I never did theater in high school. I just was overcome with this passion and emotion to perform that has not been extinguished since. I did Duke drama. I did Hoof and Horn that year, my sophomore year. Kiss Me, Kate was the first play I'd ever done in my life. And I got my first review from The Spectator. And The Spectator said, I know this from memory. Like, have I mentioned Ken Jeong, a puckish member of the chorus who best watches back if he keeps upstaging the principals? That was my first and only good review of my career. So I actually auditioned to get into Duke drama at the end of my sophomore year and got in. David Ball was the head of Duke drama at that time, and I still remember the audition. It was so heartbreaking because I had to come to Jesus talk, not with my parents, but with myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have confidence that I could perform, that I could act, that I could do comedy. I knew I had an aptitude, but I thought I would just go on my way. This is a pre-professional school. I'll be a doctor. I'll be the guy. Oh, he could have been, and I would have been cool with it. That, I thought, was in the cards for me. And Duke drama was incredibly supportive. They were like, we believe in your talent. We also believe that you're smart enough to handle both curriculums at the same time. You can be drama, you can be a zoology major, both. You can be a double major. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not that smart. I'm a hardworking guy, and I work hard for everything I've been given. But it was the most difficult period of my life during Duke to try to discover my identity. And eventually, I did repair my orgo grade. Second semester, it went from like an A to a C minus. And I was fortunate enough to get into med school. And by the way, shout out to Coach Cut. Great game yesterday. Shout out to Coach Cut. I met him a few years ago, and he told a recruit, he said, he goes, Ken went to UNC med school, which is why he became a comedian. So I love that. God bless him. And it's kind of true. So, but what I'm trying to say is that I found my identity. I ultimately found my passion. I found out exactly who I was at Duke. And it is safe to say that I never would have the fame, fortune, happiness, livelihood, family that I have right now, the value systems that I cherish in my life, if I didn't go to Duke, because I would not be myself. I would not be here today. I would not be acting. I would not be doing anything that I love to do. And it's because of Duke, I owe you everything. And I just thank you so much. Thank you. Freshman year, no, thank you, no. What I loved about Duke, in addition to to my passion in finding my identity, was I got to hang out and occasionally get drunk with the most brilliant minds, and that was so inspiring. Meeting a lot of people through Duke that have provided so many gifts to the world, and that goes back to my Duke experience, where I've met the most brilliant minds who've moved on to do the most amazing things. And you know, with regard to the pandemic, we always say generically, don't deny the science. Don't deny the science. Let science dictate policy. Don't deny the science. And to the class of 2020, don't deny your potential. I'm living proof of what your potential can be. If you have an idea, follow it. Find your flow. That has been my whole life's mission right now, is to find my flow. Any idea is a good idea. Find your flow. Don't deny your potential. You get to explore your potential at Duke at the highest level, at the highest rate of work ethic, in the most wonderfully intense learning environments. Never sell yourself short like I initially did in my life. You never know what you can achieve. I went with the flow. I had an open mind, and look what happened. This is what happened then. This is how I live my life now. And now I'm a father of 2 beautiful daughters who are here with me today. And that's how I tell them how to live their life. And even in the area of medicine, public health, people are looking for outside-the-box creative minds like our honorees to evolve our vaccines, our antivirals, and our treatments. And as Duke graduates, we all can offer something to that equation, because no matter what profession you choose in your life, never deny your potential. Find your flow. That's important while you're at Duke. It's more important now that we've left Duke. If you go with that feeling, which we were all able to cultivate at an early age and never let go of, everybody who graduates Duke University can go far. And true success, at the end of the day, is capitalizing on your own uniqueness. Find your integrative self. Even when I was a practicing physician, just kind of wanting to do comedy, I realized medicine, science, can be also my art. I learned the vocabulary and clinical algorithms as an internist. And what I learned, even from my comedy background, even if that was where I was destined to be, I made my job, I've made my science my art. Listening to the patient, listening to the symptomatology, reading the results of the test, and synthesizing this information with critical thinking and making decisions off of that information. And that's what I learned at Duke. That's the most important thing I learned, is critical thinking, integration of our knowledge base, and passion, and absorbing that into one blend. Find your flow. Integrate your critical thinking into your art, because the best critical thinkers are the best leaders. Anyone who goes to college is being put in a position to succeed. But as Duke graduates, you're being put in a position to succeed and lead. Find your passion, find your identity, and use both to lead. And it's amazing in LA, in Hollywood, where everyone's lazy. They're just like, you have an amazing work ethic. No, I don't. I have a Duke work ethic. I don't work any harder than anybody here before me right now. In order to survive, I had no choice but to work hard. That is my biggest talent. I cultivated my work ethic at Duke, and there's always a part of me, of Duke, a part of me no matter where I go. Whatever, I've cultivated that's even more important than fame or fortune. I've never stopped learning. I've always evolved. I'm always trying to figure things out, knowing that I don't have life all figured out. Because the moment you think you have life all figured out, You have a pandemic in front of you, and then what do? You know what? You keep searching, you keep moving forward, because eventually you can be part of the solution and not the problem, because that is what a true Duke graduate does. And I'm still learning things, right? Even my own small corner of the world, still evolving, still trying to move beyond just comedy and overacting, still trying to move beyond just evolving. I directed my first short film a month ago, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I never went to film school. I'm just learning. I'm learning right now. And honestly, because what I've cultivated here with the Asian Student Association, just being involved in the Stop Asian Hate movement, that has informed me for the rest of my life. What I've learned here, finding my own identity with ASA. And on the COVID front, trying to, like Vince said, raise awareness, conducting like Instagram Lives with heads of state. Next week, I'm even doing an Instagram Live with the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, at Ken Jeong. Follow me now. And I'm always evolving. I'm at a new chapter in our life. We're all at a new chapter in our lives. We're all resetting ourselves right now because of the pandemic. And I'm in the middle of that reset too. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do tomorrow, but I know what I'll always do is keep learning, never stop evolving, because you never know. And in my own world, I had an uncertain future, and I found a way to embrace it, not knowing where the end point is. And if I am 52 years old, I know I look damn good and still excited as to where my end point will be. I challenge each and every one of you to the Duke class of 2020 to have that same passion and excitement. And that is a true value of a Duke degree. It truly is. Thank you so much. Congrats to the class of 2020. You made it, and I love you. Go Duke! Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, for those thoughtful remarks. Wish you could have punched it up a little bit more.
How dare you? How dare you?
By the authority, I am calling to the podium our Provost, Sally Kornbluth.
Mr. President, as Chief Academic Officer of the University, I have the honor of declaring this convocation now open for the recognition of our graduates. As they're called, I invite the deans of the schools and the college to present the graduates. I now call upon Paula McLean, Dean of the Graduate School.
Will the graduates of the Graduate School please rise? Mr. President, I am honored to present the theoretically grounded and analytically sophisticated graduates of the Graduate School who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, our highest academic honor, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Fine Arts, and Masters of Science.
By the authority vested in me, I am delighted to recognize these degrees in the Graduate School and welcome you to the company of those engaged in continuing search for knowledge. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Colin Duckett, Vice Dean for Basic Science for the School of Medicine.
Will the graduates of the School of Medicine please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the dedicated graduates from the School of Medicine who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Master of Biostatistics, Master of Health Sciences, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Research, Master of Management in Clinical Informatics, and Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby recognize these degrees in the School of Medicine and welcome you to the company of those dedicated to the care of human life and health. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Kerry Abrams, Dean of the School of Law.
Will the graduates of the School of Law please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the judicious and fair-minded graduates of the School of Law who have completed requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Juridical Science, Juris Doctor, Master of Laws in International and Comparative Law, and Master of Laws in Law and Entrepreneurship.
By the authority vested in me, I'm delighted to recognize these degrees in the School of Law and welcome you to the company of those committed to the pursuit of truth and justice. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Edgardo Colon-Emmerich, Interim Dean of the Divinity School.
Will the graduates of the Divinity School please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the wise and spirited graduates of the Divinity School who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Ministry, Doctor of Theology, Master of Arts in Christian Practice, Master of Arts in Christian Studies, Master of Divinity, Master of Theological Studies, and Master of Theology.
By the authority vested in me, I'm pleased to recognize these degrees in the Divinity School and salute you as you embark on vocations in service of your highest calling. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Vincent Guillermo Ramos, Dean of the School of Nursing.
Will the graduates of the School of Nursing please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the exceptional graduates of the School of Nursing who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Nursing Practice, Master of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
By the authority vested in me, I am delighted to recognize these degrees in the School of Nursing and welcome you to the community of those who apply their knowledge and compassion to provide skillful care. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Bill Bolding, Dean of the Fuqua School of Business.
Will the graduates of the Fuqua School of Business please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the industrious and decent graduates of the Fuqua School of Business who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Management Studies, and Master of Science in Quantitative Management.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby recognize these degrees in the Fuqua School of Business and welcome you to the work of building our economic future through thoughtful and responsible management. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Toddy Steelman, Dean of the Nicholas School of the Environment.
Will the graduates of the Nicholas School of the Environment please rise? Thank you, President Price. I have the honor to present the Ocean Protecting, Climate Safeguarding, Energy Conserving, Health Enhancing, Water Sustaining, Environmental Justice Seeking, World Changing graduates of the Nicholas School of the Environment. They have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Environmental Management, Master of Forestry, and the International Master of Environmental Policy, the joint program between the Nicholas School and our esteemed sister school, the Sanford School of Public Policy.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby recognize these degrees in the Nicholas School of the Environment and welcome you in the vital work of understanding and protecting the natural world. Congratulations, graduates.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call upon Judith Kelly, Dean of the Sanford School of Public Policy.
In the words of former university president Terry Sanford, who 50 years ago established what is today grown to become the Sanford School of Public Policy, and who told all Duke students to stand for something, I am asking the graduates in the Sanford School of Public Policy to take a stand. Mr. President, representing not only themselves, but their many classmates who could not be with us today, I have the great honor of presenting you with the candidates who are compassionate and passionate, and who have completed all the requirements and then some for the degree in Masters of Public Policy and Masters in International Development Policy.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby recognize these degrees in the Sanford School of Public Policy, and I welcome you to the company of those who seek to transform ideas into policies for the greater good. Congratulations.
Graduates, you may be seated. I now call upon Jeff Glass, Interim Dean of the Pratt School of Engineering.
Will the graduates of the Pratt School of Engineering please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the ingenious, inspiring, and innovative graduates of the Pratt School of Engineering who have completed all the requirements for the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and of course, Bachelor of Science in Engineering.
By the authority vested in me, I'm hereby recognizing these degrees in the Pratt School of Engineering. I welcome you to join those building the future and pioneering new paths for technology. Congratulations, engineers.
Graduates, please be seated. Last, but absolutely not least, I call on Valerie Ashby, Dean of Trinity College of Arts and Sciences.
Will the graduates for Trinity College of Arts and Sciences please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the exceptionally talented and incredibly resilient graduates of Trinity College who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science.
I am thrilled to congratulate you on receiving these degrees in Trinity College of Arts and Sciences, and I wish you luck as you continue your careers to pursue knowledge and serve the world. Congratulations. Again, congratulations to all of our graduates. You've already demonstrated that you're well prepared for lives of principled leadership. And in a society that is increasingly interconnected, you will have greater opportunity than ever before to make meaningful change in our world. But remember, you are not going it alone. We're all fortunate to be part of a community of extraordinary people of accomplishment and purpose, connected by our shared values. A global Duke family that now numbers hundreds of thousands strong. And we rely upon each other for help and support, for intellectual challenge, and for fellowship and encouragement to excel. Wherever life takes you from here, whether near campus or a world away, Duke will always, always be your home. Congratulations to our extraordinary class of 2020. And now, as we close our ceremony, I ask that you please rise and join me and our student ensemble in the singing of the alma mater, Dear Old Duke.
1, 2, 3. Dear old Duke, thy name will sing. To thee our voices raise, will raise. To thee our anthems ring in everlasting
This concludes Duke University's 169th commencement ceremony.